y'all, I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind scrappywife.com, and today I have a faith journal process video for you. I am going to be working through Blessed to be a Blessing this month from By the Will for God, and I am planning on working in a traveler's notebook. And I always like to get my traveler's notebook set up in advance so that it's ready to take notes and prayers and all of that. I'm really excited to have all of my supplies picked out because I'm not totally sure where I want to go with this one yet, but we will see what happens. I'll make sure to list everything I use down below so you can check it out. Otherwise, let's go. You guys, I struggled with this layout. I just couldn't decide what direction I wanted to go. The only thing I knew for sure was that I wanted this adorable truck and that I knew I wanted it on every page because I am obsessed with it. I love, love, love it. And if you love something, then just put it all over the place. So that's what I did. I'm going to put it on my largest stamp block right here. I'm inking up the stamp and I'm just going to do a practice run on the stamp on this craft paper right here just to make sure it's a brand new stamp. I haven't used it yet. I want to make sure I can get a good imprint and it stamped perfectly. So now it is ready to go onto my page. I'm putting it over there on the left side because of how the stamp is oriented. And at this moment, it's not really going to serve a purpose. It's just going to be a beautiful decoration on each page. It reminds me of By the Will for God. I think it's a gorgeous stamp and I'm excited to be able to use it over and over again. Now, once my stamp was down, I needed something that the truck was going to be on. It was kind of floating and I wanted it to have kind of a road. So I'm looking around and I grabbed some washi tape from my stash. You can see I'm kind of experimenting with the angle of the road. And it's going to go right underneath the truck tires to kind of give it a place to be driving on. And I also like the diagonal line that it draws across the spread because that's going to give me this lower section right here to kind of section off and use for a specific purpose. When I am setting up my faith journals, when I know that I want to study in a TN for a particular devotional, I generally like to reserve 3 different spots on my page. One spot will be for scripture. I like to write out scripture into my traveler's notebook. Another spot will be for note taking from the devotional, from the notes throughout the devotional, and then another spot for prayer journaling. So I'm always keeping that in the back of my mind as I'm setting up my traveler's notebooks because I want to have those 3 areas defined and ready to go for when I start the study. Another element that I knew I wanted to play with this month was this blessed tag. I think it's adorable. It's going to be perfect for the Christmas season, but I also wanted to use it in the devotional. So it has a stamp that stamps out the outer edge of the tag and then a stamp that does the lines. Because I was incorporating the paper pack, I knew it would be difficult to write on top of that. So what I did was stamp out the outer edge, like you can see, and then I actually stamped the lines on resume paper. So it's kind of like a linen paper. It's really a nice feel. It's going to be great for writing on. And so I knew I would like it as far as being able to use it to write on. And I believe this is going to be where I end up writing my scripture. I think that's going to be my plan because the lines there just make it so easy. So I trimmed off the top and ended up, see, it fits nicely, and I'll just adhere the resume paper to the tag, and then you'll see me kind of play around with where I want the tag to live on the page. I think what was throwing me off this month is that there are just so many beautiful elements that I want to include them all, and you just can't include them all on every project every time. So I'll definitely be doing some journaling in my Bible this month because I know, first of all, that it's going to be impactful and that I'm going to want to, and also there's just so many beautiful elements that I want to be able to use, and not all of them will make their way into this traveler's notebook. I am using this scrap from the paper pad and I'm going to create a pocket, and I'm just going to continue along this diagonal. So you can see I brought my ruler out. I'm going to trace that line so it continues, and I'll trim that out right there and then measure it so that it is the exact width of the page. and I'll trim off the edge over there. And then in order to make it a pocket, all you need to do is add adhesive to 3 sides, the 2 sides and the bottom. And it will end up being a pretty shallow pocket, but it works out okay because the tag is not very long and it's actually going to fit really nicely in that pocket. And the other thing I kind of like about it is that there's going to be white space above the pocket that I can add some more graphics, some more notes, some more artwork, all kinds of stuff. Just a little bit more space right there. The tag will fit right in, and that will be where my scripture lives. I do not want to waste any of the paper, so this is a leftover scrap from the piece I cut the pocket out of, and I'm just going to put it over here in the corner. It brings in some color, it connects the tag to the rest of the page and kind of sets a color tone for the page. Those owls are super cool, and I think they're going to be very neat on this page. And like I said, it's going to bring in some more color to my entry and give me kind of a basis to jump off of when I am adding a few more touches here and there. After that scrap is adhered in the corner, I'm coming back with that same washi tape. It has kind of a faux wood look, and I'm going to end up outlining the whole upper part of this page. And what that does is kind of bring it all in. It frames out the page and it brings all of that section in together. And once I do this is kind of how I determined what section that was going to be. So I knew that my scripture was going to live in the pocket, and now that it's all grouped together, I'm going to have notes from the devotional in the upper half, and then in that lower quadrant, that lower corner that's empty right now, that will be the spot for prayer journaling throughout the devotion. Another element that I always like to include in my faith journals is a place to put the title of that day or the day number, something like that. These tags are perfect for that. They also are available over at By the Well for God in colors that coordinate. So I'll use that tag, and then I have these clear alphas. I've sped this up a lot. I'll use those to spell out day 1 where the title is #blessed. And that way I know the title of the page. I like to fill in all of the information I can before I get to studying. It just saves time and it allows me to really sink into the study. All right, time to do some watercoloring, and I had so much fun watercoloring this truck. And yes, I did watercolor a truck for every day. You'll see that in the final flip through, and I busted through this watercolor paint card. I used a ton of it, and you guys, there was still some left. You will be shocked at how far this watercolor gets you. I have just never run out of the watercolor on the card, and I've done a lot of watercoloring for some different kits. So I'm having a lot of fun mixing and matching the colors, adding some hints of brown in with the green, and then I'll get to do the pumpkins and the gourds. It was just a lot of fun to experiment with how the colors would mix together, and I was surprised at how much I liked the browns and the greens together. That would not be a normal color combination for me at all, but it fit really nicely with this particular paint. Now, a lot of the paint samples on the card have a glitter to them, have like a shimmer on them, and they are so beautiful. You don't see that here on camera, but when you are painting in person, it is just a wonderful little touch. So I absolutely love, love, love using these Daniel Smith watercolors. Okay, I get a little bit off camera here, but what I'm doing is just filling in some of that white space underneath the truck, just kind of a faded out brown down there, just to give the impression that it's a road, and then it'll kind of fade out into nothing over here on the edge, just so that the truck feels a little bit more grounded in its location. And you can see I ended up getting a little bit of watercolor on the bottom of the page, but you'll see I end up adding something else to the bottom that you'll see in the flip through at the end. Last but not least, I will use the tile alphas to add day 1, and then I think the format is done. I'm pretty pleased with how each page is going to be formatted, and stay tuned, you'll see the full flip through. Okay, so you saw the process for the first page. I have finished the journal, so I thought I would give you a flip through. It's all ready to work in. This did end up taking me a good long time, but I'm super excited that it's done and ready to begin the study. So I added the sticker to the front, nice and simple, and here is what the layout looks like. So I love this diagonal. I just think it's so unexpected. I ended up adding paper down here at the bottom. This is actually resume paper, and I really liked the feel of it. This is going to be where I will do prayer journaling right in here. I have the washi around the edges. This will be for scripture right over here, the title of the day, and then I have lots of space for notes. So I think it's going to be really effective, and you can see I just carried the same format throughout the entire journal. I had a lot of fun doing the watercolor for the truck over and over. Each truck is just a little bit different, which I think is a lot of fun. Adding the title and the day number, and there's still room to add more decoration, which I will probably do as I'm studying, little doodles, some more ephemera pieces, things like that. But for the most part, it is set to go. It has the three main areas that I'm always looking for, which are a place to prayer journal, a place for scripture, and a place for notes. So I do believe that it's going to be pretty effective. And now I'm all set to jump into the study on November 1st. So it's going to be super fun and goes all the way to the end. I'll be keeping it in my traveler's notebook. That way I can carry it with me. I can keep the actual devotional and the extra journaling TN together in here, and I will have all my projects in one place. All right, it is all set up, ready to go. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the bell notification button. I have listed all the supplies down below. Some of them are out of stock at By the Well for God, but hopefully they will have a chance to restock later this fall. I hope you all have a fabulous day, and as always, keep it creative.